Good afternoon and welcome to this year's NFL Quarterback Challenge here on Hawaii's beautiful island of Kauai. Along with my partner Rodney Cole, I'm Brian Kelly, and we'll be bringing you live coverage of the Quarterback Challenge. Now, Rodney, how competitive do these guys get when participating in an event like today's Quarterback Challenge?
Well, Brian, these guys compete against each other week in and week out during the course of the regular season, and although this is a friendly type competition, it's still a competition in the minds of these quarterbacks, and each of them wants to come away being the winner today. Don't expect any of these guys to slack off during the events because they won't. This is for money and, more importantly, bragging rights.
You're right, Rodney. These guys compete for a living, so I'm expecting to see a good battle out here today. That will lead us to the start of this year's NFL Quarterback Challenge. First up for today's Quarterback Challenge is the speed and mobility portion of our event. How important is this event to our competitors here today?
I think this first event is pretty important because if a quarterback can get ahead of the pack in terms of points, they can put pressure on the other quarterbacks to make the big throws. And that's easier said than done, though. These guys are all good players, and every one of them has a chance at winning the challenge today.
Take us through the speed and mobility course that these guys will have to contend with today.
Well, Brian, this is a good test of quarterback skills. Each quarterback will start by taking the ball off the podium, run around to his right, duck under the first defender, then he comes back across the field and cuts in between two other defenders. Lastly, he'll have to hurdle a bar, cross the red line, and then make a pass at the target. He'll be judged not only on his speed, but also on the accuracy of his throw.
Now miss the target and 1 full second is added to your time. You can deduct time from your score the closer you get to the center of the target. There's no penalty when you hit the outside ring. 1/4 second is deducted if the second ring is hit, and a bullseye will take half a second from the time it takes to complete the course. We're about to begin. Anything you want to add, Rodney?
I think we've covered everything. Let's get this challenge started.
All right, well, our first quarterback in the speed and mobility will be Joe Germain. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye.
He delivered a perfect throw on the run, Brian. He got square to the target, stepped into the throw, and the result was a bullseye.
Here are the results on the run for Joe Germain. Kent Graham will be up next in this event. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye. Let's take a look at his time. Our next competitor in the speed and mobility event is Elvis Gerbach. Right on target there as he hits the second ring. That will give him a 1/4 second bonus to his time. Elvis Gerbach will end up with a 9.29. Trent Green is next up in this event. He strikes the second ring, and a 1/4 second will be deducted from his time. And he'll end up with a 9.17. Next up is Brian Greasy. He gets a nice throw on the run and strikes the center of the target for a bonus of a 1/2 second.
Kids, if you're out there watching, take a look at the way he squares his shoulders to the target and steps into the throw. He holds it all the way through the follow-through. Technically perfect.
And he comes away with a time of 8.79. Jim Harbaugh is next up in this event. He strikes the second ring, and a quarter of a second will be deducted from his time. His total time for this run is 9.39. Matt Hasselbeck will be up next in this event. He hit the bullseye! That will be half a second deduction from his time.
He delivered a perfect throw on the run, Brian. He got square to the target, stepped into the throw, and the result was a bullseye.
And he'll end up with a 8.91. Our last competitor for this first round is Billy Joe Hobart. Perfect throw on the run, and he paints the bullseye.
The key to this run was that he didn't hit any obstacles. Then, when it was time to make the big throw, he got his shoulders square to the target and delivered a strike.
Let's take a look at his time. And here are the results of the speed and mobility part of our next competitor in the speed and mobility event is Joe Germain. Great throw there, and it hits the second ring. That will be a quarter of a second bonus for him on this run. Joe Germain will end up with a 8.91. Next up is Billy Joe Hobart. To take over first place, he'll have to beat the time of 8.91. Right on target there as he hits the second ring. That will give him a quarter-second bonus to his time. Well, here are the results in the speed and mobility for Billy Joe Hobart. Joe Germain takes the overall lead after winning the speed and mobility event. Next up, the accuracy portion of our competition. Rodney, give us the inside scoop for this event.
To win this event, you have to do a couple of things. One of those things is you've got to be fast. The longer you wait in between each throw, the further the target gets away from you. And the further away that target is, the harder the throw. Another thing you have to do is move your feet. Don't stand flat-footed and just chunk the ball. Step into the throws like you do in a real game, and everything should fall into place.
And here is how the accuracy event works. 3 balls from the first station are thrown at the target moving from right to left. The next 3 balls are thrown at the target moving from left to right. And then the competitors have to roll out to their right and hit one of the 2 deep targets for big points. And as a side note, the left-handed competitors will have the course reversed, so they're not at a disadvantage. Our first competitor in the accuracy event is Jim Harbaugh. And here are his final results on the accuracy competition. Our next quarterback in the accuracy competition is Elvis Gerbach. And here are the results in the accuracy competition for Elvis Gerbach. Trent Green is our next quarterback to compete. And here are his final results on the accuracy competition. Up next for the accuracy event, we have
Matt Hasselbeck.
And here are his final results on the accuracy competition. Next up will be
Brian Greasy.
And here are the results in the accuracy competition for
Brian Greasy.
Brian Greasy leads the accuracy event up to this point. Kent Graham is our next quarterback to compete. Here are the results in the accuracy competition for
Kent Graham.
Up next for the accuracy event, we have
Billy Joe Hobart. Billy Joe Hobart.
comes away with a grand total of 44 points. Our last quarterback in this event will be Joe Germain. And here are his final results on the accuracy competition. And our winner of the accuracy event is
Brian Greasy.
the next event coming up today is the long distance throw. Is it always the strongest arm that wins this event, Rodney?
Two things, Brian. A strong throw and an accurate throw. Judging by who's out there competing today, I'm thinking the winning throw will have to be close to 70 yards. This event is a lot harder than it appears.
Here are the rules to the long ball competition. Rodney, you know me. The fewer rules there are, the better I like it. And there really is only one rule to worry about here. After the first 50 yards, the ball must stay within the 10-yard wide landing zone. It's that simple. Each player will get 2 attempts, with the best one counting. First up for the long distance competition is Trent Green. Nice throw by Trent Green. And a pretty decent throw for Trent Green.
Nice throw, and it stayed in bounds. He still has another throw, so let's see if he can beat it next round.
The next competitor making his first throw in the long ball event will be Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh gets off a really poor throw, and this only goes for 54 yards. Making his first throw of the day is
Matt Hasselbeck.
What a heck of a throw. This one could put him in the lead. It stays in, an awesome throw of 73 yards.
What a throw! I had no idea he had an arm like that.
Joe Germain will now have his first attempt at the long-distance throw. Nice spiral and good distance on the throw. And this one stays in, and he'll be credited with 69 yards.
Not a bad throw at all. It's always good to have a decent throw like this in the first round. That way you can go for it all in the second round and not hold back.
Now up to attempt his first throw is Elvis Gerbach. What a throw! This one is going a long way. It lands inside the area, and that will be a throw of 76 yards.
Wow, the ball came out of there like a rocket. This throw will put him up with the leaders.
The next competitor making his first throw in the long ball event will be
Billy Joe Hobert.
Good throw here, Rodney. Good throw here, and it ends up being 67 yards.
This was a good throw. He still has another one, but this should relieve some of the pressure because this was a good enough throw to keep him near the top of the leaderboard.
Up to attempt his first pass is
Kent Graham.
Kent Graham with the release. It stays in bounds, and he gets a nice throw of 63 yards.
That was a pretty well-thrown ball. The good thing about this is he can give it everything he's got on the second throw and not have to worry about finishing low in the overall standings.
Brian Greasy steps up to make his first throw. Awesome release, and this one is a rocket. And this lands in the area for a throw of 73 yards.
What a throw! I had no idea he had an arm like that.
Jim Harbaugh will get the second round started off. And he lets it go. And this one stays in, and he'll be credited with 59 yards.
Well, he probably won't win the event with that throw, but it's better than his first attempt, and it will get him some points. Those should come in handy down the stretch.
Kent Graham will be our next competitor in the long-distance event. Good throw here, Rodney. And a pretty decent throw for
Kent Graham.
our next competitor is
Billy Joe Hobert.
And this one is well off the target. I don't think he's going to be very happy with that pass, Rodney. Up next to throw is Trent Green. He got some nice distance on that throw, Rodney. It stays in bounds, and that will be good for 74 yards.
He had a good throw with his first attempt, but gave it his all with that attempt and came through big time.
Our next competitor is Joe Germain. And he lets it go. Decent throw for Joe Germain. Matt Hasselbeck steps in to make his throw. And a great throw. If this stays in, it could be a record. Spectacular throw here for a total of 73 yards. Brian Breesy is up next in the long distance competition. And there it goes. Good throw here, and it ends up being 68 yards. Elvis Gerbach will be our next competitor in the long-distance event. What a heck of a throw! This one could put him in the lead. It stays in bounds, and he gets a nice throw of 70 yards. Now on to the read and recognition event, which will be the last event for our competitors today. What can we look forward to in this event, Rodney?
Well, the name of the event is Read and Recognition. So you obviously need to be able to read and recognize who those open receivers are. But you also have to be able to make a quick decision when it comes to the throw. The biggest mistake a quarterback can make is thinking these targets are human. These targets will not adjust like human receivers, so you have to be accurate and you have to be quick.
The rules for the read and recognition event are as follows. Each player gets 4 throws. The short target is always live and stationary. There will be 4 intermediate targets, and they're worth anywhere from 12 to 26 points. The deep target is live and is worth a maximum of 60 points for a bullseye. Jim Harbaugh is preparing to make his first throw in the read and recognition event. And he manages to hit the outer ring for 18 points. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye. And the pass goes way left of the target for 0 points. Perfect throw, and he paints the bullseye for 36 points. Jim Harbaugh will finish the read and recognition event with 114 points.
Great run there, Brian. A solid performance.
Up next is Trent Green. Not a good throw as it sailed wide off to the left. No points for that throw. And he hits the target but fails to get inside the rings. No score. Right on target as he hits the second ring for 9 points. Perfect throw, and he paints the bullseye for 12 points. At the end of the event, he finishes with a total of 21 points.
I'm dumbfounded. His performance was terrible, and he should be embarrassed. Not one of his typical performances.
Coming up next in this event is Joe Germain. Nice throw as he hits the second ring for 27 points. And he manages to hit the outer ring for 30 points. Nice throw as he hits the second ring for 27 points. And the ball hits the outer ring, resulting in 30 points. And he finishes off the event with a grand total of 114 points.
Pretty good run, Brian. He hit a few targets and racked up a very good score. Might not be enough to win this event, but it's good enough to put him high up on the leaderboard.
Matt Hasselbeck steps up to try his luck at the read in recognition. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye. Right on target as he hits the second ring for 27 points. And it sails wide left, completely missing the target. No score. Matt Hasselbeck finishes this round with a total score of 87 points.
Pretty poor performance for a quarterback of his ability. He wasn't accurate at all in this event, and that shows in his score.
Next up is Billy Joe Hobart. Not a good throw as it sailed way off to the right. No points for this throw. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye for 36 points. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye for 12 points. Great throw, and he nails the bullseye. Billy Joe Hobart finishes this round with a total score of 108 points.
Great run there, Brian. A solid performance.
Elvis Gerbach steps up to try his luck at the read in recognition. And the pass goes way left of the target for 0 points. Decent throw as he strikes the outer ring for 18 points. And he completely misses the target. And the throw strikes the second ring for 9 points. Elvis Gerbach will finish the read and recognition event with 27 points.
He really stunk it up on this event. That's the type of score my 2-year-old son would get, not an NFL quarterback.
Coming up next in this event is Kent Graham. Perfect throw, and he paints the bullseye for 60 points. Right on target as he hits the second ring for 45 points. Oh, the ball strikes outside of the rings for no points. Hits the third ring for 18 points. And he finishes off the event with a grand total of 123 points.
Pretty good run, Brian. He hit a few targets and racked up a very good score. Might not be enough to win this event, but it's good enough to put him high up on the leaderboard.
Next up is Brian Greasy. Not a good throw as it sailed wide off to the left. No points for that throw. And the throw strikes the second ring for 27 points. And he completely misses the target on that throw, Rodney. And the ball hits the outer ring, resulting in 30 points. That ends our NFL Quarterback Challenge for this year. Let's take a look at our winner. And our overall winner is
Kent Graham.
For Acclaim Sports and Rodney Cole, this is Brian Kelly saying aloha from beautiful Hawaii. And thank you for joining us for this year's NFL Quarterback